All right. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to welcome to the Opus Magnum Weeklies 2024 Week 3 again. Uh, the puzzle is Instant Miracle by series, and the metrics were uh, bounding hexagon, then period as the first one, and rate, then multiplication. um, as the second one. Rate and multiplied area and gilder as the second one. So we are going to look at the period one first. So no. Sorry. So we start at 27th place after we skip every solution with optimal uh, rate. Uh, this solution is by JPIV. Note Street First Weekly just made a solution that at least minimizes the primary. Welcome to the Weeklies, and I hope you enjoy your stay. So the solution, it does minimize the primary. Period 174 at minimum primary and 174 instructions. There's only one arm, so it makes sense. So doing this puzzle with one arm actually seems pretty annoying.
I mean, it does seem like one of the easier methods to go about it if you have limited space. It's kind of like an area solve.
Exactly.
Yeah, you start with more limited space, and Also, we are starting at minimum primary, apparently. That's exciting.
Skipping
minimum primary is like...
That is, a few rate solves have accidentally got into the solution list after skipping all solutions at minimum rate. This is, yeah, apparently even the worst solves begin at the min primary.
Yeah, there are solves that score worse than these, but they are rate solves that we will see later, and we don't want to reveal those just yet. But yeah, since there is limited space, doing one arm is probably one of the easier ways to go about it. And I think, yeah, a best count of 3 is the minimum, right? Not 3, 4. 4 is the minimum.
3 is impossible.
Yeah, 3 is impossible due to like the amount of glyphs you need.
Yeah.
So really, this is just a choose your own chamber size production puzzle, except you don't get to choose your own chamber size because primary is 4. Welcome back to production.
And this is actually more constrained than production, but yes.
I mean, it's like a 1 production chamber. Singular production chamber.
Yeah. So that was JPIV. Again, welcome to the Weeklies, and then we'll proceed to the next solve by Nightshine. Note says Bestagon throughput is kind of like tessellation throughput with less thought involved as to the ideal shape, right? I intend to look at myself in the mirror and be happy. This soap also debones the quicksilver in the middle of the amalgam input. Also uses one of the quicksilver. No, uses the deboned quicksilver to as a pivot to attach the water atoms.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was assuming was it going to just use one of the reactive water inputs for the center, but apparently not. It debonds it and bonds it back again. It uses more arms than the previous solution, which helps in reducing the period by spreading the work out between different arms.
Right.
But the problem to that is that the more arms you put, the less space you have of actually, moving around the atom. So it's more of a problem. How many arms can you put to lower the period as much as possible?
Mm-hmm.
How many arms can you squeeze in?
Yeah. We will
see.
We will get to see later.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
learning how to metagame.
We will get to the next soap, 25th, by Dr. Enigma. He says in notes, I didn't really try optimizing for period with this soap, but I was pleased with the bounding hex size. Rate seems like it'll be interesting, but I'm not sure I'll find time to submit a solution for it with all the Explosion Day festivities happening this week.
Alright, happy 4th of July for anybody in America. Well, in the US specifically. Happy Freedom Explosions Day. I think that was yesterday? I don't know. Yeah, the day before yesterday?
Maybe yesterday with the time zones going on, but yeah.
Yeah.
This one builds a cradle shape first. And then sneaks in the quicksilver inside. And then it also takes some time to fix this copper, which is unfortunate. So how do you fix the... So one of the themes is that water and silver are on the opposite sides of the molecule, so you need things done to both sides of the molecule at the same time. How do you manage that in as few periods, in as short as period as possible? That'll be one of the themes. We're gonna move on. 24th place, Alex, min primary question mark. Note says optimize only for primary. Min primary, indeed.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good software, only being optimized for min primary. You beat 4 other people. No, not 4, but 3 other people at min primary now.
Mm-hmm.
This one seems to employ the method of putting
using the quicksilver as the pivot, then putting projecting and placing the water atoms as needed.
Attaching everything, fixing the bonds later.
Yeah.
No need to detach the quicksilver, just, you know, it works well as a pivot. You can do it later. Since none of the bonds on the original metal input has
Right.
is in the output, so you know they're gonna have to go away eventually. But in the meantime, why not keep them around? They're convenient.
Mhm. All right, shall we move on to the next solve? At 23rd place, 70 Storm. The notes say
70 Storm saying in the 70 Storm saying in the chat. Just wait till you see my song. Here it is. Here is your song.
the note says, I shall believe this is the real Bestagon. And I think a certain character in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is not going to like this, but 4. I don't know what the... I have no idea what the reference is, but... What...
I am not familiar with JoJo either. Sorry, 17 Storm, we got a bunch of non-anime watching people here in the commentary section. Somebody might get it in the Twitch chat, who knows?
So about the solve. This one keeps 3 water down here as a to be bonded later, while the main molecule is being projected up there. And while it is projected, it is the whole time it is blocking the input, so there's more space to maneuver. And then fix bonds at the later.
Since we are working with limited space, input suppression gives you a lot more space to work with while you process your output.
Indeed. Also, only 2 debonders, 1 bonder. Saving glyph space is also important for this metric. But we shall move on. At 22nd place, Slap Drill, Bestagon. I feel like further improvements would require that I learn production instructions, since I have no clue how to make things not 1p under space constraints. Well...
Oh yeah, that does mention like a technique that you can do in terms of production instructions where you use a fractional p, like, you know, the entirety of week 1. Which, you know, happens to be useful here as well. Big drop.
Big drop.
You dropped about like 20.
Yeah, 20 period, yeah.
No idea if my spreadsheet is
uses the it debones the quicksilver, but since the workspace is cleanly divided into the projection station versus the water station, so it takes less instructions to do things than the prior solves, I think. Five arms on this one and good track sharing on the arm 4s and 5. Alright, now we shall move on to 21st place by Yosh. Only 2 period faster. Yay for best tachometric. I like the output swing too much not to submit this solution. May market showcase just so it gets shown. Vestagon is such a fucking banger metric. Thanks Based, Feindir, and Sirist for championing this metric. Ah.
About what I assume what Finder did was put it on the leaderboards.
I guess so.
I think that's Finder's contribution. I don't know the lore of this the Vestagon metric. But apparently people like it. They're calling it Vestagon even, so you know. So far we're still looking at 1P solves though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one product per tape loop. So
Indeed.
while we're in the 1P solves, it comes down to how much
how efficiently you can make the outputs, how fast you can make the outputs.
And also how evenly you can share the load between the different arms.
Yeah.
It's like, so you want to use as little steps as possible, you want to spread the steps as evenly between as many arms as possible.
Yeah.
And that still holds true for later solves, but then we get to conditionals.
So on this solve, the limiting arm seems like arm 3. Nothing else uses the full tape loop. Maybe there's some way to move around the instructions so it reduces the tape length a little bit, but we're gonna move on.
It seems like the top right of the hexagon is basically unused. You could probably put an extra arm there that does what arm 3 does.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, really.
But Yosh likes the swing, so we're keeping the swing.
So, next solve, 20th place, Avenged Ruler plus Skyhawk. 21p. Alchemist A. Rular entered the room with the brightest of ideas on how to optimize the company's newest product, the Instant Mirror Coat. The idea was to fit it into the smallest hexagon, as this was a simple and holdable shape, and to make the instructions as simple as possible, as to reduce the amount of moving parts within the system. While the hexagon part proved simple enough, Rular stared over the hexagonal grid, endlessly looking for anything more than a theory of how to improve. It wasn't that he had no ideas, it was that he had no idea how to implement them. Layout after layout after layout, failing to produce more than a mere 21 period. Perhaps this is a task for a more experienced alchemist, Rular said, walking away to begin on less productive work. Well, you still beat 7 people, so...
It all comes down to experience on how to shape them instructions.
And a clock symbol. I can only assume that something bad happens when this is removed. Ah. Alright, and at 19th place, Mr. Royal Spade. The Hive. Another great metric, you guys are on a roll. I generally dislike area puzzles because there's no obvious floor, so I appreciate that Vestagon gave a very obvious lower bound. 4 plus 2 input, 7 output, 2 bonder, 2 debonder, and 2 projection equals 19, ruling out the radius 3 solution. I was torn between doing one product per period or doing one product per 3 periods. I ultimately went with 3 because it seemed more fun, not for any mathematical reasons. I have a feeling the most optimized solution will also be one product per 3, but I had a busy week. So I enjoyed making this slightly stupid solution much more than I would have enjoyed using my brain. I really wish Radius 3 was possible. I like it when the primary is extremely difficult, instead of just being a constraint. That being said, these weeklies are infinitely more fun when I remember that I play this game for fun and not win. P.S. To area metrics, I can't place down a spade this week. So, our first fractional P solution.
Interesting. Yeah, it is 1/3p. 1/3 p.
Yeah.
How does it do it then? I assume with the offsetting of the pivots.
So ARM5 tries to grab it here, but it fails 2 loops out of 3. And then it gets, I guess it gets grabbed by ARM6 and then output. But before that, it adds water. It adds water at one place and then projects the copper directly opposite to that. So yeah, that's how you do. That's 1/3 P. All right. Now we shall move on to the 18th place by Genius42, which is a team made of Jemu and Genius42. Note says, hexagons are the bestagons, made by Jemu. Genius42 tried really hard to get a 6-8p, but couldn't get it, so we are just gonna use this solve I cooked up in like 30 minutes. Spent all the time on optimizing rate. This is 1p, this is back at 1p again. But there are more arms doing... But the task is divided into more arms, so I guess it results in shorter period, I guess. Arm 2 and 3 handing off the Quicksilver onto the projector. So this can act in every 4 and this can act in every 4, for example. And then fixing the bones after attaching everything, and then output. So I kinda like this elbow shape meeting the main body of the molecule with just pivots. Maybe that'll, I don't know. But we shall move on to
cheap an instruction count.
Yeah.
Because if you pivot, you don't have to return the pivot, unlike rotations.
Right.
So they're pretty useful. We can see some arms here only have 4 instructions, 5 instructions.
Mm.
If you do an arm that is grab, move, pivot, and then return. That's 5 instructions that can do quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe we'll see come up, in the later songs.
Maybe.
Am I quiet? I don't know how I sound on stream.
Maybe we are gonna see that in later songs, but we are gonna move on to the 17th place. Coco 52, New Solution 2, 19p. Still going down one by one.
Period by period. Soon we'll probably be getting period highs as well.
This one has significantly less arms, but tapes are very full. And it uses the attach water, project the opposite copper strategy. And while Arm 2 has a lot of actions, at the end it's just one move. At the end, the return is just a single movement. But we are going to move on to the 16th place. Valley 42. Veteran's Wool. 18p. I kind of
quiet. Apparently, I need to speak louder.
What?
People say my volume is I'm more quiet now. Does that mean I need to speak louder? Yeah, you could probably just turn me up in the VC. Right click my name and pull the slider. That'll probably work. I'm not gonna be around for too long though. I'm gonna go, get ready for bed and stuff in a bit.
Maybe I'll gonna.
In the meantime, though.
All right.
Hmm?
I'll gonna just reduce my volume. Now that my mic is fixed apparently. So this soap. Arm 1 repeats itself 3 times. I kinda like it. Could have been, I don't know. And then fix, so make an elbow, attach everything, then fix everything, and fix wrong bones output. So well organized solve. But and now we are going to move on to 15th place. A grape jelly singularity. Bestagon 1.2. I'm happy it's a Bestagon. Let's see how I do. Not bad, apparently. Pivot by Quicksilver. Attach water molecules. Attach water, then fix wrong bones output. I like how the water is attached onto the molecule at three consecutive cycles. Yeah.
It looks like a very smooth solve.
Yeah.
projection is interesting though. It kind of pivots back and then it goes to the output. I wonder if there's a better way to bond and output instead of doing that many pivots, because the pivots looks very instructions intensive.
Yeah, right. Eight
I'm
pivots.
sure Gravedigger and Singularity has tried many things, but yeah, I think maybe.
Maybe if Quicksilver started at here instead of here, because it's symmetric, you can just flip it back and it'll work. Maybe. I don't know.
It just moves so smooth and speedy. How many cycles? 114. Yeah.
It's period 18. It's period 18 and 1p. So
yeah,
fairly fast.
I assume solves will be faster at lower periods unless we start using fractional p. Fractional t.
Let's see if we're gonna see. 14th place, Silver Bite. Best I can solve. Another week where I realize a way to get a way better solution too close to the deadline. At least I'm getting on the board this time. So this was the last solve submitted.
When was this submitted?
When?
How many minutes to go was this submitted?
About, I think it was submitted about an hour or so to go.
Oh, an hour? Damn, people are submitting on time.
Anyway, 1/3.
Oh, is it a 1/3 P?
Yeah.
Nice. I see. It does 1/3 P due to with the pivots.
Arm 1 is pivoting. Arm 1 is pivoting the molecule once, and Arm 7 tries to grab it and place it onto the bonder. And elbow gets assembled meanwhile, and then fixed output.
I'm wondering why there's extraneous track on Arm 1 under Arm 1 and Arm 7. I suppose it's just there for fun. It cost doesn't matter. Use as much track as you want. Use those pistons for all right there. Cover everything, and I don't know. Calcifiers might ruin things. Duplication. Do we have duplication?
We don't have duplication.
Yeah.
But whatever. These arm can have a track as a little treat, maybe.
Fill your empty spaces with track and projection. Yeah, projection. That works too.
Whatever. And at 13th place, Rat Message.
Calcifiers or waters don't go, indeed.
One interesting solution name.
1,000-foot phallus.
I couldn't find a layout for B3. It always seemed to be lacking space for arms. It's probably a skill issue. As I'm not conditionally inclined, I instead just threw pistons into the free space, put on my pajamas, and went for B1 and B2 on this B4, wailing unrelentlessly on the instruction tray, praying for something majestic to fall out. I was hoping for a symphony by Beethoven, but unfortunately I got a painting by Stevie Wonder, at least at first. On a more serious note, from the first iteration of this solution, I shaped 1/3 of the period and about 4 arms. The first solution had a lot of intermingling hands touching all over the bonders in a rather vulgar fashion, and just like a trip to the tunnel of bees, it was far too sticky and quite painful to work with. I didn't have to change much, but I eventually somehow found space for all my arms to do their business. And like with most arms, it was usually in the corner, away from prying eyes. Eventually, the more secluded ones got the axe for the unspeakable things they were doing back there, and their workload was comfortably distributed among the proven few. With the more elegant reactive water setup, I could see this solution dropping a little in secondary. Edit. I found a way Arm 5 could handle the copper on his lonesome, relegating Arm 7 to bucket duty. Bringing input speed from 6 cycles to 4, but dropping us only 4 more period as opposed to the expected 6, as Arm 5 is now holding the solution back from running at Arm reset speed, due to it re-grabbing the silver. The override losses 2 cycles, which I'm not too unhappy with. Looks clean, someone might even be fooled into thinking I know what I'm doing. I'm very curious to witness if there's fractional P wizardry coming up, and as always, looking forward to the show. Fractional P wizardry, you say?
Fractional P wizardry. Well, we've seen fractional P, but I don't know if we're calling it wizardry yet.
Just, we'll get there when we get there, just you wait.
I'm curious about what everybody thinks the lower bound for period is. Take your guesses in the chat. Take your bets. How low does it go?
Also, 97 cycles in the very fast solve.
Obviously, the minimum is 3.
Mm-hmm.
You just grab, move, drop. That's possible, right? Right?
Right?
Are we getting any further One Piece solutions? I do not know. We shall see.
12th place, X Sucker 888. 14, still 14p. I'm going to inhale it. Please don't.
Was there anything in the notes about inhaling the instant mirror code? I
What?
don't remember the. Was there anything in the lore of this puzzle about the instant inhaling? Yeah, vapor is harmful and may affect brain or nervous system, causing dizziness, headache, or nausea. I
Indeed.
see.
This is still 1p. And it wins on the tiebreaker. About 8 instructions fewer.
Yeah, same period as I. We're getting the secondary ties. Are we gonna get a complete tie?
There's no tertiary ties. At least
No
on this
tertiary.
metric.
At least on this metric. Who knows
Yeah.
about the other one?
And on
I'm
11th
going to
place,
paint.
on 11th place, non-happy. Chippy chippy chapa chapa doobie doobie daba daba. What? I don't know what that is
Oh, is that the
referencing, but this is 1/3
Sing a song. I see. It is certainly 1/3 P.
I was going to submit this at a period of 12 for a while, as I couldn't figure out how to get it down from there. Then, somehow, I figured out how to get down to 9. I look forward to seeing someone get period 4 using black magic.
Period 4.
Period 4.
Doesn't sound impossible, right?
I mean,
Who knows?
who knows?
Period 4 is only like single movements and rotations.
Yep.
Or maybe a single arm doing like 2 pivots.
Single arm doing 6p things.
Mm.
So yeah, pivot the amalgam input only 60 degrees at a time is only 60 degrees per loop is fairly productive in this puzzle. Red Massive says Red Massive says he's always they are always next to Egg Sucker.
Oh no, the rat is sucking the eggs. Don't eat the eggs.
Okay, the next solve would be the host solve, my playtest solve, which is also at 90.
Hacks to solve.
So yeah, I was also
playtester.
I was also at period 12 for initially, and then made it into period 9.
That's a lot of pivots Arm1 is doing.
Yup. Exposes everything on the bonder and the projector, and then fix spawns at the very end. Output.
Bitten to win, yes. Also, anybody in top 10, you have beaten our expectations because you have beaten the host off. That's how it works, right?
So we are going to move on to the top 10 finally.
Top 10, here we go.
10th place, Sockboy at period 8. Aimed for period 8 and happy to get there. At first I thought there would be plenty of space in the size 4 hex, but it ended up being very tight. There's just not a lot of room to swing the ring around. Again, 1/3 P solve.
I think what most people are spending their instructions on now the most is the pivot arm, because most of these solutions I'm seeing are like are solutions that spend a lot of instructions just pivoting and offsetting it to make it 1/3 P.
Yeah.
And so that does just cost quite a few pivots. So I wonder what the better solutions would do.
Interesting thing is that Arm1 has to delay until to prevent the wrong projections.
Yeah, because we're working with silver, not with gold.
Not gold.
If it were gold, just put silver on however way you want. What other fraction do we see? I don't know, but 1P and 1/3 P seems to be the easier ones. Maybe there's gonna be like a 1/4 P because of a suppression shenanigans. But you know, these are the logical.
1/3 P is really easy to work, easy to conceptualize, easy to work with. Just
these
rotate
are the logical fractions.
Yeah. And also the input suppression being very handy here. But we are going to move on to the 9th place. Mr. Piozo, Octagon.
Octagon?
As indicated by the name, period 8.
That ain't sound right. This octagon is missing 2 sides.
Interestingly, it also fixes the wrong ones over 3 loops. Revik says they had 115p, but it sucked.
115? Where does the extra 5 come from? Damn. That's such an awkward number. Yeah, it's a very smart output in which you only have to. It's output conditionals. That's basically what it is. Just keep on working with it until it's correct. It's a very smart way to split the amount of instructions you need for outputting, or bond fixing, that is.
Apparently that saved 5 instructions compared to the last one.
No period, sadly. Which arm is limiting? It seems to be arm 6.
Arm 1 is 6, I think.
Well, arm 1
One
just
somehow
has
has the clock symbol.
Yeah, you know, it's irrelevant, since arm 6 is padding out to the same length.
Hmm. Okay, are we ready to move on to the 8th place?
Yeah, also Cassian says output conditional is great because you don't need machinery to move the thing. If it works, it's just poof, it's gone. In the output hole it goes.
Okay, at
Imagine if this game.
No,
I was gonna say, imagine if this game gave you an error if you put the wrong thing over the output.
like Space Cam.
That would suck. Yeah. I'll say Space Cam only does that if you use the output command, right?
Right.
It does that.
Yeah. So at 8th place, winning by 1 instruction is using and void.
God damn.
Probably not that bad, indeed.
One instruction. One single instruction.
Again, 1/3 P. And fix bonds at...
This fixes all the bonds at once.
Yeah. The period limiting arm seems to be the arm 3, but this clock is needed because otherwise it cannot grab me. Otherwise other arms cannot grab this. Okay. Arm 3 also does piston motion. Arm 3 also does pistoning to bond the water atoms, so that makes the fixing bonds easier, I guess.
Right, I think I'm gonna have to head off for now though. Good luck with the stream though, Haxon. It's been going well so far, apart from the technical difficulties from the beginning.
Alright.
Good luck.
Having a good night.
Hey, see ya.
See ya. And alright, so this is 8th place. 7th place we go down, we shape 1 period by Fuyu. Initially, it was a struggle to even get a 4B so working at all, let alone one that didn't involve very long periods. Many cycles were used trying to awkwardly maneuver the output shape in the limited space to get the right bonds. Eventually found this glyph layout, which allows for attaching water and projecting silver simultaneously, while the bonders and debonder on the right cleanly rectify the bonds for the output with 2 pivots. Started with a period 18 1P soap using this layout, and later on found enough conditional processes to convert to 1/3 P for a much shorter period. Using the central bonder to right. So all the bonds needs to be fixed somehow anyway, so this bonder doesn't matter, I guess. and then the pivot to move on to, and then pivot to move the output onto the series of bonder and debonders. Saves instructions, but that didn't stop this solve to, that couldn't prevent this solve to become having the most instructions in 7. Alright, at 6th place, there's 8 less instructions and solved by Abonop. Maybe there's just not enough space to worry about 1/6 P. We're gonna see. Okay, ARM6 pivots to make space for swinging of the output, and ARM3 is the period limiting arm because it has to wait for 1 cycle. Is this bonder projector layout with the reactive water input the secret sauce for this metric? Not sure. This was usable for the previous solves, but I haven't looked at the top solves that closely to make the judgment. So we're gonna see. Alright, at 5th place, Team Psycho Maze. Honest effort, but P4 possible for sure. Yes, this is 1/4 P. And this doesn't use the layout. So this is 1/4 P because of the 4 track here. 5 attempts to grab at nothing if this is already blocking the input. And the only arm that is using the full period is arm 9. So I guess arm 6 also needs to have an empty instruction here. Alright, we are going to move on to 4th place. Side looks away, BP6. Less winning by 6 instructions on this one. And this so makes 5P look very possible. This one is also 1/4 P. Again, ARM1 attempts to grab at nothing after input is because the product is constantly blocking the input. This one has the same projector debonder bonder layout. Is it? Ah, right. This is right. This is 1/12, yeah. 1/4 per reactive water. Right. Each time ARM3 goes around the track, it adds 1 water atom to the molecule. And also, at the third time, ARM3 is reused to output. $112p, so you basically don't have to worry about any other products still in the pipeline. Yeah. Indeed. All right. So we are gonna move on to the third place. Team Fiesta Land. Respectable 19p6. 19p6. We feel that anyone who experienced the probe module puzzle in Tournament 2023 must believe that this puzzle can be solved at P4. But just like most of the people who experienced that puzzle, we were unable to find a solution like that. In fairness, we could argue that this puzzle is actually the more difficult of the two. The edge of a hexagon is more restrictive than the wall of a cabinet. This puzzle requires constructing a large output, which is generally more geometrically challenging than deconstructing a large input. And perhaps most importantly, this hexagon just has less area than that cabinet. Still, we did find fragments of a solve that got tantalizingly close to P4 or P5. The most promising of them got stuck in the rocking motion with the pivot and translation and no way to extract the finished product. In order to make headway, we finally had to give up and just solve the puzzle. So we posted a P11 that we quickly improved to P9. The main thing that was limiting us was the shear space required to get multiple arms working on slow-timed fractional tape loops. An overnight inspiration got us to this idea, which only has one arm doing timing tricks and the rest doing simple every loop geometric conditionals. We are still 100% certain that better P is possible, but given how challenging this puzzle is, we declare P6 to be a respectable bestagon. Or respectable, if you will. In the third place is very respectable. Nice double duty conditional. Okay, that refers to the previous solve, I guess. So yeah, ARM4 checks for output every loop. ARM3... Right, ARM3 goes around the loop and there's just no possible instruction for returning ARM3 to the original position. So but it is on a loop, so it eventually comes back to the normal position. So ARM3 pivoting and ARM5 translation working together to attach the water atoms and returning the quicksilver back to original position. Alright. And on second place, Team Hello Jazian, we finally dropped down to period 5. Using calcifier to mark the boundaries of the hexagon. Okay, the note writes, a student of Imperial University consulted me about a project in which multiple transmutation engines ran in parallel, operating identical designs and sharing internal components below the interface layer of elemental proxies and gripper arms. A strange issue in this project emerged. The timing crystal in each transmutation engine, which normally keeps its arms operating in lockstep on the instruction tape, would become slightly out of phase with every other timing crystal, leading to cascading conflicts and an eventual arms cannot operate asynchronously fatal error, which I had never seen before. These phase strips are small and a timing crystal's full oscillation is one loop through the instruction tape. Therefore, on short tapes, each instruction spans a wider range of phases than on long tapes. To change the transmutation engine's interconnections would cause more problems than is solved, so his problem was reduced to this. Within these tessellating superhexagons, minimize the length of the instruction tapes, i.e. period. Except no, because period chafes against the constraint of hexagons. There is no room to sprawl, no place to scribble track, and hardly a place to put the output glyph even. There is a good reason that the student found little prior art for his project. This mirror code formula demonstrates the issue. Typically, a reasonable minimum period to attempt is 4, and an unreasonable minimum is 3. This machine leans heavily on the leeway of period 5 for almost every arm. I'm confident that the period 4 will be found and refound, but not by me. 3 would be astonishing. I asked my correspondent for help, and we were both stumped for improvements. Best of luck to those tinkering under the surface in Imperial University. Strange restrictions, far beyond price, speed, and size, suddenly become deeply practical constraints. Alchemist Calcium, in correspondence with Alchemist Jasper. So I appreciate the ARM 7 because it pulls twice by itself, but it's a tri-arm instead of hexarm, so it misses this place every time except when the output is nearly complete and there's only ground bonds to refix it. Also, yeah, this one is doing the quote-unquote 1/3 piece thread of attaching water and projecting the silver opposite, but this is running at somewhat 1/4 p. But the core idea is about the same. Arm 1 feeds the amalgam input to the main machinery, and arm 2, 3, 4 feeds the water atoms onto the half-finished product. And fix the bonds and output. Alright. So the first place didn't found period 4. Kelly Reese's. Congratulations for the win. There's no notes on this one. This is 1/18th P because of the ARM 4. So why does this has to be 1/18th P? I guess there's simply not that many instructions. Simply the tape length is just so short that it has to. ARM4 cannot return to its job until ARM4 cannot return to its job too fast, I guess. So we can take all. So the rest of the machinery can take all the time it wants to fix the molecule into the original orientation, and then before the ARM4 feeds single water atom into the machinery. So yeah, this is the winning solve. Yeah, nobody found period 4. It might be impossible, maybe. So yeah, congratulations to Team Hello Jazian for 2nd place, PSLN for 3rd place, Psy Looks Away 4th place, Team Psycho Mains 5th place, Ebon of 6th place, Fuyu no Kaze 7th place, Username Void 8th place, Mr. Piozo 9th place, and Subboy 10th place. Now we are going to move on to the rate solves. ARM5 doesn't need to be on a track, but it is to save one instruction. I mean, it's that theory. It's just that it never mattered. I do like how it is timed perfectly to dodge the large swing that ARM4 does. But we are going to move on to the rate solves. We start with Nightshine. After skipping all solves that had the optimal Bestagon primary, we start from Nightshine. I irately rate 8 out of 8. Less than half the rate, less than double the fun. ARM3 is the limit. ARM3 seems to be limiting the speed overall. Everything else has unused instructions at the end of its tape loop. So make an elbow and then make an elbow with water, bond it into the main molecule, fix it later, then output. A well-organized soap. Overall, though the arm to never pistoning makes me suspect that this might have been a just solve the puzzle solve. But we are going to move on to 23rd place by 70 Storm. So 27 rate to 16.3 rate. Should be something about chess, I don't know. Knight does the L. Interesting build order. Looks very cool though. Indeed, doesn't matter, got victory screen. Indeed. This solve is beautiful, indeed. All the parallel motions. This one has powerful energy, indeed. I'm going to stare at it for one more loop and we are going to move on. After all, this makes all 6 of its outputs in one loop. At 22nd place, Norma existing. At 6th rate, this is the optimal rate. So from now on it is, so at 22nd place it is, from the 22nd place it is all optimal rate. And it's all secondaries from now on. So uses a projects all 3 coppers at once, and while doing that it needs water storage too, and it uses a lot of space, and it uses some amount of space and arms to store water and send it into its eventual places. This soap seems not deserving worst at min rate. I suppose min rate is an offer, but this ain't a monster. People are getting good at this game. 6R with infinite secondary. So this orb is at this orb secondary is at 136,920, uses 168 area and 815 gilder. We'll see how this number decreases. At 21st place, JPIV writes, efficiency, what's that? So it's better. Yep. Using a lot of arms to it is to send the water and quicksilver on to the opposite sides of the amalgam input. 2P track loop, yes. Embrace Infinite Factory. Indeed. It pains me to see these solutions aren't area conscious when they could be. Might be. So this solve uses more gilder than the previous solve, but this is at 138 area instead of 168 area, so it wins on the secondary. Now at 20th place by Slap Drill, the secondary takes a drop on this one. From 123,000 to 59,000. This one extracts the quicksilver from amalgam input, then uses that as a pivot to attach water into. About the huge secondary drop, yeah, the products tend to do that, and the drops are going to get smaller as it goes on usually. And yes, Hello Jasper, it is debonding the center quicksilver to attach water. Maybe there's a geometric reason for that. But we are going to move on to 19th place. Before, right, the nodes. Dealing with the water was the most annoying part. Realizing I could bond it to the Quicksilver in this way was the key that made this work. Though, because I realized this after I was committed to my approach, I handled really inefficiently. Edit tiny area improvements. So we are going to move on to 19th place. Non-happy. Simple rate solve. A quick solve only slightly optimized. Rate 6 was an interesting challenge though, especially when consciously trying to keep area low. I sort of used this as a piece to try out some ideas I couldn't do in the Minagon solve, the water being bonded together before joining to the metal, and the metal being turned and promoted at the same time just to get it into position. I don't know how optimal that was, but it was interesting at least. I unfortunately missed it last week due to being in the midst of my, hilariously enough, organic chemistry final, but hey, I'm here now. Avenger Ruler puzzle was fire, yeah. Sirius did a great job with the puzzle. So this one as described, water is bonded together into L shape, while the metal part is turned and projected, and then fix the wrong bonds and it is finished. On Twitch, Kazuyan said something interesting. What was ARM 18? Ah, this one. Right. So the water part of the molecule resides on a track for a moment before the ARM 18 has to move onto it. So yeah, very area conscious ARM. But we are going to move on to the next solve. We skip a place because there's a secondary tie. At 17th place, Red Massive. Bonds are a lot harder when you use the Quicksilver in the copper amalgam. Not sure if I'll submit a BPI solution, it will require more effort than this and I'd probably sink hours into it. If BPI was fast, then you know already which timeline we are in. As always, looking forward to the show. So this one already much more compact. So from the 19th place, it's already much more compact and much more cheaper. again builds the L with water, and then while the metal is projected, and then fix the wrong bonds and output. And on the tied 17th place, Subboy, 4 speed. Same area, same cost. How many arms are there? 12 arms. 13 arms. So this one uses a different build order, as it is project. There uses 2 projectors to facilitate bonding water onto it, and then the first one seems to be incidentally projected, and then the last 2 coppers are projected at the bottom while fixing the wrong bonds. But we are going to move on to the next solve. 16th place for you. Slapping it together, RX. Same area, but 5 guilder cheaper. So we see the elbow again. Build an elbow while metal is projected, then slap it together, fix wrong bonds, output. And I guess the reason why in these four arms is the geometry, I'm guessing. This is period 2 track loop, so I guess it cannot work with any less number of arms. That middle bonder is not needed. I don't know what bonder you are referring to, but all 3 are used. Okay. Right. If that happened, let me calculate. If that happened, it would have beaten the next soul by Coco 52. Very unfortunate. It would have mattered, yeah. this track loop having 5 arms on it, but then instructions is not a consideration for this metric, so it's perfectly fine. $25K pile, maybe. $25K pile, maybe. We are gonna see. At 14th place, Avenged Ruler, Skyhawk, Team Avenged Ruler plus Skyhawk. At 25,740 secondary score. This one debones the Quicksilver and uses it to project the metal part. Then uses this extra Quicksilver to just have this extra Quicksilver is converted into this extra Quicksilver, so there's less bonding to go on here. Would the 640 have also beaten this? No. So Fuyu's score was 64 area by 405 Gilder. 64, but if that 10 gold that it was there, it's like 25,800 or something. Indeed, that yeah. The silver to water connection and immediate output, yeah. Because all of the water side bonding is done here, it can just pivot, it can just rotate and rotate back output. No fixing needed. But we are going to move on to the 12th place. There's another secondary tie. By Mr. Royal Spade, the Rotary. This I feel have the similar philosophy with the J-pips we saw before. Oh. Okay, I am miscalculated my number. Okay. Back to this solve. So again, as I mentioned in the BPI section, the Quicksilver needs to go onto one side of the molecule, the water onto the other side of the molecule. So this is how to route that efficiently is pretty important to solve it. Pretty important to getting good score. Those loops look expensive, but it's good, huh? Let me see. It's... I think it's in the area save. It's 60 area, 420 gold. But... And on tied 12th place, we have Silverbite. Link's very cute animal. This one doesn't have any loops, and there's also pistons being used here. Maybe changing this to normal arms make a difference. I'm not going to calculate it here. Quicksilver is completely debonded and then has to be translated into the water elbow. What that makes for easy bonding. And less things to fix on the... less things to fix here. Yeah. Oh right, that arm 2 can just be a tracked arm here. Hello Jasper points out. Maybe if that happens. But the next soap goes. But the next soap, the secondary goes down in a bit of a drop. Pay for Mercy at 11th place. Very clean. Especially the bond fixing section here. There's some discussion on the Twitch chat. Should I go back to the previous soap? Ah, okay. Arm 2 and Arm 6 can be combined into a hex armor track, but there's no bad grabs, I guess. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there's no bad grabs on the combined hex arm. If that happens, then it's minus 20 Gilder. But I don't think it goes down to, I don't think it goes down below 224,000. So this one only has period 6, but there's a lot of bonders and a debonder for fixing the wrong ones. Maybe a little bit excessive, I don't know. So we are going to move on to the next solve. Congratulations for making it into top 10. Grape Jelly Singularity. I wanted to make a Daft Punk reference, but it just wasn't working. I have no reference for what a good GA number looks like. Well, you made it into top 10, so I guess it's good enough. $62 area by 380 gold. The elbow comes back again. No, it's not the elbow, it's just the third water is bonded directly onto the main molecule, while the 2-water stick is bonded later. Also, only 11 arms. I think that's the fewest arms we have seen so far. Smaller, cheaper, faster silver. Alright. Congratulations again to Grape Jelly Singularity for 10th place. To 9th place, we have John. And it takes a drop. Secondary takes a drop again. At 20,520. $11 arms, and arm 9 and 8 putting in some work assembling the water elbows. Arm 1 seems to be pretty clean. Just pivots it 3 times and timings work perfectly. Jamu UN Genius. No, you do not have a 21k. You have something better than that. Which is coming up as the next soul. Again, congratulations John for 9th place, and congratulations Team Jamius42 for 8th place. So the note says, rate by Gemmu, leaving Vestagon to Genius 42. This puzzle was pretty fun, the rate was decently easy to calculate, so the challenging part was the secondary. This layout started as a 425 guilder by 76 area, then got squeezed and squeezed until it is now 365 guilders by 56 area. At this point, the soap is as dry as a timing crystal. Yeah, 8th place at this field is pretty good, I'd say. Again, arm 1 doing the arm 1 feeding the metal input, and then arm 7 and 9 assembling the water into elbows, and arm 7 assembling the water into elbows, 9 assembling the elbows and the metal part together, and then fixing the bonds and output. Could that diamond track be moved to save an area? Ah, to here. Ah, Gemmu says it. Gemmu reports that it did not seem to work. Right, there's different lengthed arms, so maybe it needs to be here. So, and then we shall move on to the next solve. At 7th place, X-Sucker 888. Congratulations on the 7th place. Wheels on the bus go round and round. Surely referring to the arms 8 and 9. And arm 10, there's a lot of pivoting arms. Again, making water elbows, then combining with metal, fixing wrong bones, output. $56 by 56 area by 365 guilder. No, 60 area by 340 guilder. I was reading the wrong number. Alright. At 6th place, the secondary goes down a bit more by Team Mr. Piozo. Step on the clutch. Yeah, 49 area, 350 guilder. So much more compact and not sacrificing too much for it. So the arm 6 is delaying the projection of this copper. So the Quicksilver can get there and sitting there on the projector until it is needed. Interesting. and hex arm and two length 2 arms to deliver water into the molecule. Yeah, input suppression seems to be pretty useful on this puzzle, even on rate. Okay, congratulations on 6th place, Mr. Piozo and Team Mr. Piozo, and then let's move down to the 5th place. Sai looks away. Another drop into 15,000s. Return of the pivoting arm. And arm 2, 3, 4 all feed the projector in every 2 rhythm, and timing works out perfectly. And it makes the water elbow bonded to the metal part, and since there's a debonder here, the fixing part does not need as much arms, but it uses an extra debonder, I guess. Alright, let's move on to the next solve. Team Fiesta Land. Another 2,000, another drop on the secondary, about how much is it? 1,500, I guess. It keeps getting smaller and more compact. And this is at 290 guilder. This is the first sub 300 guilder soul we are seeing. The trickiest thing about managing rates on this puzzle is the fact that the water and quicksilver want to be applied to opposite sides of the product. Our first attempt uses 7 arms and 10 track to do the job. Expensive maybe, but pretty small, so we were satisfied with that. Noticing that our solution was very close to fitting inside a size 5 hexagon, we idly started tinkering to see what it would take to make an RPG soul. In doing so, we discovered this method of handling the reactive water. Using only 6 arms and 8 track, pretty good savings. For the record, the notorious RGB soul did work with size 5. Lepai is awesome. Welcome to the weeklies. I hope you enjoy your stay. So yeah, this soap directly bonds the water atom to the metal. and it is not sacrificing much for it, maybe even cheaper because of that. And fix the wrong ones, and it is fix the wrong ones and output. It well organized. All right. At third place, Ebonov, R Concept 4. No more effort given, title included. ARM 4 is tracked to avoid BS collision with metals. Still pretty good. Third place after all. Also the bonder, also the disc shape we saw in the BPI source, it makes appearance again. So the water is bonded here, and while water is bonded, it is projected. Converging on one idea. Indeed. So this one saves one area from the previous solve. The next solve saves 20 Gilder from the previous solve. Congratulations to the second place team Hello Jazian. Again, that motif is here. And pivoting is divided between arm 1 and 2 so there's less arms required. The note says, the sides for projection and the sides for water bonding are on opposite sides of the copper amalgam. That's the problem. It's just that easy and just that hard. The alchemist could store water or quicksilver to perform one operation first and the other second, but that requires extra machinery and some storage space. We would like neither. The number of stations for manipulation should be minimized. Thankfully, we use this motif in the first station that allows for projecting and bonding in one station. Our second station is mandatory because the center of the product requires both bonding and unbonding, so we perform the unbonding in the second station. It is unfortunate that we lack the spare cycle to finish the outer ring of bonds in the first station. So an extra glyph of bonding touches up the product in the second station. Probably referring to this glyph. It is doubly unfortunate that a collision occurs if one of the quicksilver handling arms on a track is exchanged for a single arm performing a rotation. Were it not for this, our rate product could be 11,700. Perhaps someone has found a cure for this woe, but we otherwise do not expect significant further improvements to this design to exist. I've given a few of my gripper arms a shiny new coat with this instant mirror paint. They don't perform any better, but they are eye-catching. Yeah, the BS collision with the metal part versus the quicksilver seems to be a common problem using this setup. But we are going to move on to the first place solve. Team Psycho Maze, that is Rebix and Shadow Cluster. Congratulations on the victory. And the prediction was correct, it does not go down that much. I don't think we've had any top solves for either metric that projected the mercury from the copper input. Saves one bond and lets you work on only one side of the big input, but very clunky. Maybe it was very difficult to maneuver the elbow. It seems very difficult to maneuver the elbows because there's just such a nice pivot point for both of the shapes. And yeah, this solve is 10 guilder more expensive than the previous one, but 3 area smaller. That motif is... this motif is there, but the... ah, okay, there's still the PS collision issue. So yeah, this seems to be a pretty powerful setup for this puzzle. At least for those two metrics. The Psycho Maze again showing how good they are at speed. Indeed. So that was all the scoring solves. And before we look into the showcase puzzles and showcase solves, we are going to look at the next week's puzzle, the infamous week 4 puzzle. I'm gonna let this run for a while. So traditionally, week 4 was the most, I don't know. Let's say most cursed puzzle we have. Let's say. Deep fry rocket propellant. Puzzle by Spiritual Shampoo. And yeah, this is the inputs, outputs, and the glyphs. The metrics are instructions, then cycles, then cost. That's the first metric. The second metric is cost, then times fire is grab it, then times salt is grab it. That's the second metric. Note that there's no tracklist restriction on the instruction metric. So yeah, that will be the week 4 puzzle. It has gone public now, and we are going to look at the showcase solves. While I set this up. All right. First solved by Team Arpioso. Team Mr. Arpioso, yeah. Owls can rotate their necks like 180 degrees without over projecting or something. And the crit tally gets used. There's a conduit that shape. There's a 7 hex conduit that is overlapped with itself, that so it flips the output 180 degrees and makes projecting possible. Yup, the track shape is a null. Next, overlap simply solves everything by Team Avenged Ruler and Skyhawk. Yeah. Radius 3. Showcase stats. Wait a second. Sorry, Hello Jasper, I don't know how to do that honestly. I'll figure something out. Sorry for the stats not showing. Stats not showing up. I don't think I have the. I don't think I have the file for that. Sorry. So the note says. So the note says, Avenged. Yeah, so I was pretty cooked on the Bestagon metric when it finally hit me. Overlap solves basically every challenge in this puzzle. After realizing this, I set out to make my first overlap solution, effectively allowing me to lower the Bestagon 1 unit lower than the possible otherwise, and solving many of the annoyances, making my current scoring solution difficult to improve. Area can be improved, but this is the classic Bestagon aesthetics overlap category. Alright. Definitely aesthetic. And the last showcase solution by 42 Genius 42 of Team Genius 42. The note says, so close to an 8p 4x4x4 Bestagon. Just those last two king bonds. Oh well, hopefully Jamu unloaded whatever our previous best was. Try the 4p and 6p09, could not get. Okay, the wrong ones. Tragic. What did they got in the BPI metric? 20, okay. There's just not enough space in the bottom, I guess. Well, yeah, the radius 4 hexagon does not give you much space on this puzzle. So yeah, this will be the last soap I will be showing today, and thank you for participating in this stream, and have fun for the next week on this puzzle. And thank you for watching. See you next time.